When did you realize that someone was all bark and no bite? I was 12 when my stepdad Mark gave me a cute nickname, and that was a lazy N-word. You see, for 2 years straight, Mark had one rule. I wasn't allowed to sleep. While my white siblings could sleep from 11 p.m. to 7 a.m., I was only allowed to sleep from 12 a.m. to 4 a.m. Luckily, I didn't even have to set an alarm clock, because every morning at 4 a.m., Mark would burst into my room with a flashlight in my face, checking if I was ready to do my character-building chores. This included scrubbing bathrooms, organizing the garage, prepping breakfast for when his boys woke up. But that wasn't even the worst part, because if I made any sort of noise, I'd lose privileges. The privileges in question: eating enough food, drinking enough water. And since my mom worked 12-hour night shifts as a nurse, she never saw any of it. Mark had this whole philosophy about modern kids being soft. When I was in Afghanistan, he'd start every lecture. We functioned on 2 hours of sleep for weeks. You kids today can't even handle getting up early. I'm sure you can guess why his rules only applied to me. By month 3, I was practically schizophrenic with how much I was hallucinating. Shadows moving in my peripheral vision, hearing my name when no one called. I'd fallen asleep on the toilet twice, at my desk dozens of times, and once while standing in the shower. The other black kids at my school started calling me the raccoon N-word because of the dark circles under my eyes. My grades made like a girl's chest during puberty, went from A's to D's, all because I couldn't stay conscious long enough to finish tests. Teachers thought I was on doc drugs and said I fit the stereotype. Even the counselor pulled me aside asking if everything was okay at home. The breaking point came during midterms. I literally fell asleep standing up during my history presentation, face planted right into the whiteboard. 20 minutes later, the school nurse called my parents, and Mark showed up in his veteran's cap like he was on a rescue mission. "This is what I'm talking about," he said, shaking his head in the nurse's office. "No self-control. I've tried everything. Structure, discipline, consequences. Some kids just don't want to succeed." The counselor ate up every word. "I don't blame you, Mark. Most white folk wouldn't even bother trying to civilize a kid like this. You're fighting genetics here." I tried telling my mom when I got home, but she was exhausted after a double shift, and Mark was right there, arm around her shoulders. "He's exaggerating," Mark said calmly. "Teen boys are dramatic. I'm just teaching him discipline." "Bruh, I only get 4 hours of sleep," I managed to whisper. Mark laughed. "See what I mean? The kid can't even keep his lies straight." My mom just sat there saying nothing. "Plus, didn't your guys' ancestors used to spend all day in the cotton field anyway? You should be used to this by now." He then threw his head back and cackled. That's when I realized my mom was too scared of Mark to defend me. I wanted to call CPS, but I knew Mark would just sweet-talk his way out of it. So instead, I did something I'd never done before. I went through my mom's jewelry box to find my dead dad's old phone. There, I found his brother Jerome's number. I texted him on my phone and asked if he wanted to go on a run with me at 4 a.m. Mark would be at his peak performance by then. When he agreed, I felt a chaotic excitement fill my veins. So on Thursday night, I made sure to be extra lazy at dinner. Dozed off twice, knocked over my water. Mark's eye twitched with anticipation. "Looks like someone needs extra motivation tomorrow," he said, his boys snickering. At 4 a.m. sharp, the flashlight hit my face. But this time, Mark brought props, a bucket of ice water and an air horn. He was so excited to abuse me that he didn't even hear the front door open. "Rise and shine, you lazy N-word," he cheered. "Today we're trying something new since you can't seem to be disciplined." He was then interrupted by the sound of my bedroom door creaking open. "What the F did you just call my nephew?" My uncle's voice bellowed through the house. Behind him, my cousins Deshaun and Terrell. Mark's flashlight swung toward them, his face draining color. This is breaking and entering." "Nah," Jerome said, stepping inside. "My sister gave me a key years ago, for emergencies." "You don't understand," Mark stammered. "I'm teaching him discipline." "Bad move." Terrell, all 6 feet 4 inches of him, stepped between them. "Go on, touch my cousin again. I dare you." "Get out of my house!" Mark screamed. That's when my stepbrother Connor appeared in the hallway. "Actually, Dad," he said, holding up his phone, "I think you should see what Chase and I have been recording. We're done pretending we didn't know what you were doing to him. Full story on channel, link below."